Hey freaks and friends, welcome to day 29 of the 31 days of October. The daily content continues with 45 years of Halloween celebration. Today, we're taking a look at the man of the last month, Michael Myers. And we're going to be ranking each actor's performance. Let's go.
Make sure to stab that subscribe button and slash that bell icon so you don't miss out on this daily Halloween content all through the month of October.
For 45 years now, Michael Myers has terrified and captivated audiences all around the world. Today we are paying tribute to the man himself. 10 days removed from the character's birthday, by the way, and it is too hot to do this video with the mask on. Also, the audio probably won't be all that great, so we're going to take the mask off. We are paying tribute today to the man himself, Michael Audrey Myers. That's you, buddy. We're going to be ranking each actor's performance. I was thinking about doing a film by film, but that would be a little too wonky for my liking. What instead I'm going to do is rank the actors as a whole, taking into consideration the whole of their effort. So guys like James, Jude, Courtney, and George P Wilbur, Tyler Mane, they're going to get one spot on the list. That's just kind of how this is going to work. It's the simplest way I could think to do this. I will make honorable mentions, and I do want to say too, I was contemplating going all balls to the wall and ranking every single person who has played Michael Myers in some capacity. That is a list of 20 plus names. We're not doing that. We're sticking to the main 8 actors, but I narrowed the honorable mentions down to 4 because I am not going to put all 20 people as an honorable mention, although they are, you could say, an honorary honorable mention. We're going to take a look at the big 8 performers to play Michael Myers. But first, let's get those honorable mentions out of the way. So to get into the honorable mentions, there are 4 guys that are going to be name checked here. They're not going to be in any particular order. Their contributions are definitely worth recognizing no matter how small they were. They're nowhere near as significant in scale as the actors who played Michael through the respective bulk of the film, but they contributed just enough to make it into this part of the ranking. We're going to start with Tom Morga, who is bandage-faced Michael in Halloween 4. I feel like he might have done at least one scene with the proper mask. I can't be 100% sure on that. If I remember to put a little citation on here to say yes or no, that will be on the screen. If not, I'll be sure to let you guys know in the comments, or you guys can let me know depending on who gets there first. But Tom Morga, absolutely pivotal performance as the bandage-faced Myers, which was the best looking Myers in this film. Next we have Deg Ferrick as Little Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know a lot of people are like, no, that's a shit performance. There are things about it that don't work in the grand scope of Halloween as a big franchise at the end of the day, but in the context of Rob Zombie's Halloween, and just for his performance alone, Deg Ferrick works as Michael for me. When I was a kid, I was sort of that kid who would be picked on. Not too dissimilar in appearance from Deg as Myers. Of course, the facial definition's a little bit different, but I was the long-haired kid with the Kiss shirt. People wanted to pick on, bully, and talk shit too. I never went nuts and did shit, but for some weird off-kilter relatability, Deg Ferrick definitely earns a spot here. That Myers resonated with me when I was 12, by the way. We also have A. Michael Lerner, who I almost didn't put in the honorable mentions, but because he did do a bulk of the climax in Halloween 6, he definitely deserves the spot here. When you notice that Myers in that film is just notably a little bit leaner, that's Lerner. Just remember, kids, Lerner leaner, Builder Wilbur. I love George Wilbur, by the way. But A. Michael Lerner, you helped add to the scariest Myers for me personally, so you got your spot here, buddy. And this is probably the honorable mention everybody was waiting for. That's going to be Aaron Armstrong for his work as the Flashback 78 Myers in Halloween Kills. If you watch this right after the first Halloween, you would almost think it was Nick Castle. Whether it's the mask or his performance, the way he carries himself. The one time we really see Michael kind of run at somebody, I think Aaron Armstrong did pretty damn great with what he was given here for the little bit of screen time he had. If they were to do the firm reboot, which is one thing they should definitely do, if they wanted a straight remake Halloween 78, get Aaron Armstrong. This guy can do it. He's got the chops. We've seen him do it. But those are the honorable mentions I really wanted to name. Again, I do tip my hat to everybody else who contributed, whether it's all the other Kid Myers or the folks on the set of the first film who played Myers for a brief second, Deborah Hill, Tommy Wallace. You guys are kind of in the umbrella catch-all of an honorable mention there. Starting off with my least favorite portrayal of Michael Myers. I'm sorry to those of you guys who liked him. I don't hate his performance, but it's just absolutely my least favorite by a mile. That's going to be Chris Durand in Halloween H2O. I've heard Chris is a nice guy, so there's nothing against him as a person, but his version of Michael, again, I have problems with the walk. Again, his legs look like a damn wishbone sometimes when we see that full body shot. Also, the inconsistencies of the mask, I know that wasn't his fault, but that sort of contributes to my final judgment in ranking a Myers. He does get some pretty cool kills in, although we don't really get to see most of them. Again, I know that's kind of a back to the basics kind of suspense, not about kills. I will say, on a positive note, he did pioneer what I think was one of the coolest moves for Myers, which was that one-arm pull-up and then that slow release down. That was cool as shit. I don't care how goofy it is. That's cool. That's freaky. And it gets duplicated, so if they're willing to do it in two different films, it's worth mentioning there. But Chris Durand, there's not a lot that he does as Myers that I remember, but the things that I do remember are just things that didn't really work. And again, it's things that were not any fault of his. He just happened to be in that class of least favorite. Coming in at number 7, this is another one that is not the most impactful Myers for me. That's going to be Brad Lurie from Halloween Resurrection. When I said that the Chris Durand arm pull-up is duplicated, it's duplicated here. Brad, I think, did okay as Myers. Again, he didn't really bring anything unique to the role. He just kind of played the character in the very par for the course kind of way, where it's like, alright, I'm the boogeyman, I got a stock. He did a pretty basic performance. He looks pretty cool at some points in the film. Again, if the lighting is right, like when he's chasing Donna through the sewer, he almost looks like the Myers we all want to know and love there. Although when we get those close-up shots, there is a very apparent use of eye makeup that was just sort of made to, I don't know, was it supposed to make his eyes look darker because it just kind of made him pop a little more? So I don't know. But he had some pretty cool kills. His kills are definitely better than most, not all, but better than most of the kills that Chris Durand had going on in H2O. But at the end of the day, he's just ultimately a pretty unmemorable Myers in his own right. The main thing that we all remember from his portrayal is that he was given orders by Busta Rhymes. Is what it is. It's stupid. It's not Michael, but fuck it, what can we do, right? Coming in at number 6, this is another Michael Myers performance that I feel is just a little, I don't want to say subpar at this point, but this is where the performances are getting better. But this is a somewhat flawed performance. That is going to be Don Shanks in Halloween 5. I like a lot of what Don Shanks brings to the role. A lot of it is his imposing stature. He does look pretty cool in some far away shots. He does some of the stalking pretty well. Like, he does some pretty damn good lurking. And I used to really disagree with that, but on this last rewatch of Halloween 5, I felt, you know, he does have some better Myers chops than I'd previously given him credit for. I think that he does pretty good for the most part. Again, the whole mask not being tucked in is a little problematic, but I don't want to fault him for that. I don't know if that was Gerard's direction there, or if it was just something where they're like, yeah, we're just writing it as we go along. Tucking in the mask is the least of our worries. Don Shanks, he didn't do a whole lot that was really different. Like, he's definitely a par for the course type of Myers. Again, some cool kills, some cool moments, imposing stature, but the two things that really hold his performance down and almost caused him to go lower are going to be Uncle, Let Me See, Tear, didn't need that, and the jail scene where you just kind of see him playing with the shackles. No. That's a no for me, dog. Oh, we're halfway there. Whoa! I'm not gonna sing again unless you guys want that by some weird popular demand. But number 5, we have a Myers that I will always come to the defense to, even if he is sort of just at that middle of the road. That's gonna be the man with the coolest name on the planet, Dick Warlock. Dick Warlock, I think, is a pretty cool Myers. He's still in that sort of Nick Castle school of Myers. People are going to say, you're fucking tripping because look at the way he walks. This is hopefully the last time. It's probably not going to be the last time. When you see the way he walks, you got to keep in mind all the shit that the character went through in the first film. I've said that ad nauseum. He's a Myers that I think is still brutal. He's definitely at that point where you're starting to wonder even more, is this Myers character superhuman, or is he just a really strong man? You're really uncertain at this point. And he's got some, again, the kills I think are definitely a big factor to each Myers performance. The appearance, yeah, the mask fits his face a little weird, but we'll just say that when he hit the ground, it just kind of warped to the latex. Who the fuck knows? But I think Dick Warlock is pretty serviceable. Still nothing too particularly special, but going forward, that's about to change as a sentiment toward the performances. Coming in at number 4, this is going to be our first repeat Myers, but it wasn't the first repeat Myers. That's right, boys and girls, that's going to be Tyler Mane. I like Tyler's performances. The thing that just kind of puts him in this weird middle spot is the over-the-top imposing stature. Where you had Don Shanks, who was like, I think 6'5". That's tall enough. I think Tyler was like 6'9". That almost feels a little too tall, especially when you look at Daig's stature early in the film. It just feels a little unbelievable that the character would have grown this big. But you know what puts him this high? It's his fucking brutality. This is the Myers that looks like not only does he want to kill you, but he wants to make you feel every last bit of pain he can milk from you. He's probably the last Myers I would want to run into, save for maybe one or two others. But Tyler Mane as Myers did really kind of unsettle me when I first saw Rob Zombie's Halloween. And I know one thing a lot of people hate is the hobo Myers. Come at me, it's probably the most realistic thing for the character if he's been on the lam for a year or two, depending on which cut of the film you watch. To sort of get to see a little bit more of his face typically would bother me. But again, I've said before, this is a whole new universe, this is a whole new Myers. The hobo Myers and being frequently unmasked, I'm okay with it. He's a Myers that is always going to be in the conversation of best Myers, even if people are like, well, I don't like this and that, but that's the thing. There's always going to be that but factor, because if you don't like one thing he did, there's always going to be something he has going on that makes up for it. That's just my opinion. Maybe you guys agree, you know, just let me know down there. So have I had enough controversial opinions this month? Probably. But this one is going to probably take the cake and have me crucified by the Halloween fans, some of them. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to be Nick Castle at number 3. Now, before you guys get mad and get the torches and everything else ready, just know that I absolutely fucking adore Nick Castle's performance as Michael Myers. But he only had one outing properly as Myers. He did contribute in Halloween 2018, but that was just a quick reflection shot. When we think of Michael Myers, we do think of Nick Castle, yes. but we don't get a lot of on-screen sort of interaction with Myers until about the third act. We do get some lurking in the first and second acts. We have some of the best Myers stuff ever with Nick Castle. But you gotta also consider body count is something that I take into effect here. He doesn't have the best body count or the best of kills. He does have some cool ones. Of course, the Bob kill we all know and love, and you guys know that that wasn't my top one. But that's not the point. Nick Castle, without him, we wouldn't really have the sort of idea of what Michael Myers ought to be. Most performances going forward, all of them owe everything to Nick Castle. Even Tyler Mane, who is the different Myers. He laid the groundwork for what this character is, and it was simply, a lot of it comes from John Carpenter telling him, Nick, just walk. And when Nick walked, you knew shit was about to get messy. Nick Castle, I'm sorry you're not number one. I really do sincerely apologize, but my opinions got the best of me. So my runner-up for the best Michael, this one hurts me in more ways than putting Nick Castle at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is the dearly departed George P. Wilbur. My first Myers. For a while, he was number 1 for me. That's not the case anymore. But George P. Wilbur, with the 2 films that he had, I think he was pretty damn serviceable. Sure, his appearance in Halloween 4 was kind of marred by the hockey armor and the overly painted Shatner mask. Whatever. You guys know, again, I justify it by, hey, it's 10 years later, they're getting cheaper with the masks, Star Trek's less in favor or whatever. I still think it was the Devil's Reign that inspired that mask, but that's just me. But no, it's the Halloween 6 George P. Wilbur that really puts him at this level, and always has put him at this level. As you guys know, and I've said already throughout the month and over the years even, it is the Halloween 6 Myers that would only ever appear in my nightmares of Myers as a kid, and still to this day. But he was the first truly brutal Myers that we got to see. Sure, he seemed to be progressively brutal as 2 and 4 came out, and 5 even. But in Halloween 6, we saw a whole new fucking breed of a psychotic Myers that was just ready to kill anything and everything that got in his way. And I don't know, he just had that movement down that was a very Castle-esque one. Sure, he was kind of, we joke about being the pudgy Myers, but he's definitely one that had the biggest impact on me as a Halloween fan. So I would have put him at number 1 if not for who is number 1. George, rest in peace. You're still the man, bro. But taking in the top spot, process of elimination dictates the most recent Myers, James Jude Courtney. Is it because he had 3 films? Partially. Is it any one of those films? If I had to pick one film that would have put him in this spot, it would have been Halloween Kills. But when you combine those 3 roles in the Blumhouse trilogy, he definitely did enough with Myers to make him his own character. I mean, in 2018, sure, he plays it safe, much like the movie itself, and he sort of sticks with that Castle-esque performance. But we get into Halloween Kills, he brings in that Wilburian sense of brutality, which is, again, chef's kiss. Absolutely love what he did there. And in Halloween Ends, he brings a vulnerability to Myers that we hadn't really seen in a true sense. And again, longevity. 3 films. There's a lot to love there. A lot to hate if you... I know a lot of people are pretty goddamn divided still, but that's what happens, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think he had just enough time to prove himself to be the best Myers, in my opinion. He put in just enough to sort of elevate the character again to a different level that we hadn't really seen before. Again, some of the brutality we had seen in 6 and the Rob Zombie films. But what we hadn't seen was what we got in Halloween Ends. A Myers that was vulnerable. And not just, oh, he's able to be shot by the police, or his niece is able to get him to take off his mask. No, we saw a Myers that was on his way out. A Myers that was still human. Some would beg to differ, but this is a Myers that I think in Halloween Kills was really just running off of pure fucking adrenaline, that animal instinct. Was he transcending into something more? That could have all been hyperbole for all I know. It perhaps could have been some true shit. I don't know. And that said, there's still just enough of that mystique there to bring him up to the top spot. James Jude Courtney, my number one Myers now. If you would ask me 2 years ago, it probably still could have been George. But James, you are now my favorite Michael Myers. So that was my ranking of the Michael Myers performances, guys. Go ahead and let me know down below if you agree or disagree. All the same, I want to know how you guys would rank the performances. If so, give me a little bit of criteria why each Myers is there. Or you could just tell me 1 through 8 how you prefer them. But me, and Michael here, we want to know where you put them. Don't you, Mike? Anyway, guys, be sure to play with the little icons down there. Hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on the remaining days of the 31 days of October. We got 2 days left. It's going to be some fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Won't we, Mike? It's almost your day, buddy. Aren't you excited? Me too. Me too.